Hello, Goji community. This is Len Nguyen. We are a digital marketing manager from LinkedIn. It is my absolute pleasure to be here, surrounded by the best and the brightest in the industry. First, a huge shout out to Angie for bringing us all together, and to all the women data scientists out there, a huge shout out to you. Thank you for your brilliance, for all your hard work that you're bringing us every day. As a first timer to this stage, I'm thrilled. I describe myself as a data scientist at heart and a marketer in the mind. I love this industry, the sweat, the challenge, the surprise, the problems, and the rewarding. It couldn't be more fun. But here's the secret. I'm not here to talk about analytics. I want to talk about the future of what we do. And today I present to over you three models, one vision, engineering your path to architect the future. We are in a room full of brilliant minds, and we wanted to talk about something that is often missing from our day-to-day agency. So when people ask me what I do day to day, I told them I'm a data support, a high-end data support, and people laugh at it because the challenge for me is actually, are we recording history or are we actually engineering the future of the growth? And when I think of myself, I think of all the data scientists' worst nightmare. In and when you think about one of the disaster meetings you have been in, when you are seeing three different reports, search, social, display showing you the sales booming, your ROI is to the top. But the reality is, not everything is as dreamy as it sounds. So here's the thing, that gap in reporting, the math doesn't add up, the inconsistency, and we stuck with the path, we stuck to challenge and to figure out what happened. And that is when it's time for us to think about a new, different idea. The architect, when we move from a passive state to more active state, where we can be the builder of the economic engine, when we do not look at the gap as a problem, but we engineer a path through it with a strategic agency, and really being able to answer the question that the CEO, the CFO really care about. Where do we allocate our next investment? Where should be the next incremental dollar to go? And that is when we are going from a high-end data support to a high-end data strategist. And that is when we wanted to really shift the future of analytics from really interpreting the answer from the past, but building the foundation to the future with all of these amazing tools that we are seeing right now with Claude Code, with ChatGPT, with Gemini, and with Copilot. And now we go from a data scientist worst nightmare to really think about how can we building that instrument, how can we really building the growth momentum it? Because for us as marketer, we wanted to make sure that we are seeing a problem through one lens, through consistency. And that is when I wanted to for us to master the future of how we think, of how we building that growth. And let me use an example for you. All of us like to go to the gym. We think about the gym as I love being there. I have to pay for monthly membership, but I do not know whether we're actually using it. And I'm too afraid to cancel it because I'm afraid that the progress of me staying fit can disappear overnight. And think about it, right? When you think about the macro picture, is when you think of your macro marketing modeling, your MMM, and this is your CFO, your grumpy CFO trying to understanding, is your ROI investment worth it? Does it make any sense for us to spend that amount of money? But then you do not have the foundation to make the decision. And you're moving on to the microscope when you actually put your 500 fitness tracker, your Peloton bike, your fitness ring, and and all of your fancy gym equipment under the telescope. And then you actually look at the touch point, look at how you get there, right? You're checking your steps every day. How many steps do you run in a day? And then you look at all of that as a tiny click, as a tiny data point, and look at your heart rate every time you check your step, how many minutes do you run in a day, and then really making sure that we look at each of these steps individually. But then when you look at the compass is when you really see how does how does all of this coming together. Do you actually see when you pay for monthly membership, going to the gym twice a day, 3 times a day, Monday to Sunday, your exercise getting there, your heart rate stress is getting there, but do you actually accomplish your fitness goal? It's when I talk about that engineering the growth, that ability to really being able to find that causality, that ability to say, hey, when I go to the gym, it actually deliver what I need to deliver. So for you to be successful, you really need to think, to structure your thought, to structure your analytical roadmap in the way that it makes the most sense, that you can get the validation, that you get the details, but you can get the bigger picture together. And now I wanted to present to you the ability to come to get all of these models together, to look at all of this marketing measurement and really being able to understanding what it means and how it come together. So as I mentioned earlier, I love the ability to bring the shock and to really relate what we do to the daily life. And when I think of MMM, MTA, causal testing, I think of 3 different mindset in one, 3 different package in one. So you go from a grumpy CFO, right? You have those moments when the CFO challenging you. You're skeptical about your ROI, your chain, your seasonality, and you just couldn't connect the dot. And then you go to a hyperactive marketer. We are optimistic, we are fast, we love our creative. But then you see an engineering, right? Or to tell, really being able to look at these number, these creative, and ask yourself question, what is real at the end of the day? And then that is when the struggle couldn't be more real. You have to understand that there's no such thing as perfect model, and being able to understand the strength and the weakness of how we do the model is so essential in how we do what we do, and really being able to provide us the success that we need. And then that is when I wanted to tell you about this. Each of these marketing measurement really come together and really being able to give us the full picture. So with MMM, you can tell yourself, oh hey, this is how you need to spend, how you do it, where to do it, and how to do it. But then you need to be able to tie how much you spend to your customer journey, and really being able to build that path to purchase, and in how your search, your display can deliver, can convert your customer. But at the end of the day, nothing makes sense with that validation. You need the truth, the ability to hold it together. And that is when you bring everyone to the same page. You can bring the confidence, the validity in how we do what we do. And I do believe that analytic is the art and science. It's not only marketing. You can have the best creative in the world, but if you cannot measure it, you cannot show the impact of it to the final stakeholders, then you are not winning it. You're not winning in it in the long term. And you can, and that is how I wanted to present to you guys is how we think about what we do, both in the short term, in the long term, but also building the architect for the future. So now in this slide, we are bringing everything together. Looking at the engine cannot go well when each of the part doesn't come together. And I believe that what I do every day, the measurement, the MMM, the MTA, and the testing cannot come together if we do not understand how they operate together, the rhythm behind it. So when you look at this calibration, you look at the machine, you look at how you can building that for your day-to-day work. And when I think of my MMA, my marketing measurement, my macro picture, I really wanted to see how much I can spend on each channel, and that is the biggest circle in this engine. And then when you look at the optimization, right? When you look at the flow, you really need that connection, and MTA is that connection path. And the last part of the calibration, the testing, is how much of that spend actually caused the net new growth. What happened if you stop marketing in a day? And you need all of this rhythm come together to build you the most the most and the best ground truth picture. Think of that as the North Star of your framework. Because I do believe that an organization can thrive on the most advanced technology, but you don't measure it right, then nothing else matters. And that is when you go to a stakeholder meeting, and that is when the tough moment begin. So when I think of building the architecture for the future, I think of the engine, of the details, but also how it fly together, how it fit together. Is I do think what make us stand out and what make us going from an average data scientist to the good one and to the best one is how you can connect the dot. How can you really see something that no one can see before, and how you can problem solving in the most advanced and in the most strategic manner. And last but not least, this is when we all come together and triangulate the future together. So we have conflicts every day. Nothing is perfect, because without conflicts, we have no challenge. And I do believe that conflicts make us better, smarter, sharper. And that is why when it comes to the truth, the ground truth of what we do every day, I do believe it is going from conflict to calibration. Marketing measurement is a tool for interpretation, but triangulation is a tool for agency. Why I say what I say, I do believe that if that the data can speak for itself, but if you cannot interpret the meaning of it, and you cannot take it further, then you're not making the data stronger. You're not making your agency smarter, and you're actually making your organization fall behind. So making conflict is not good, is challenging, but it creates an opportunity for us to make it better, smarter, stronger, more coherent, and flow together. And that is why I wanted to challenge us on our day-to-day is to not it's not triangulated, it's not complicated, but instead of spending the time to perfectly make our code better, can we think about the business concept? Can we relate it? And I do believe relatability and relevancy is critical in what we do, how we do our job. And that is what makes us from a data high-end data support to the visionary of the future. So so here's the takeaway from my talk. Technical skill get you into the room, but the ability to connect that math to the meaningful vision is what keep you at the table, is what bring you to the top. And I wanted to challenge each of you guys out there is to stop waiting for a seat, to start building the table, go run your engine, and go from a data support, from a data technician to a data strategist, to a data visionary, and lead with empathy, lead with data, lead with quantitative, but handle it with sympathy, with the intelligence in the inside. That's then your path. So I wanted to thank you again for the opportunity to listening to me present. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, you enjoyed the slides, and I want to thank you so much again for your time and giving me this opportunity. And to all of the women data scientists out there, I'm here to learn, to grow, and to be able uh, to be innovative with different ideas. So if you have any feedback, if you think is there anything I can um, make my talk better, any feedback, I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much again for everything, this opportunity, and to more conversation coming ahead of us, and to the future of analytics.